Hello, everybody. It's October 19th, 2022. It's the SIG Node CI subgroup meeting. Welcome, everybody. Let's get started. So today on agenda, we have a few items. Let's get going. The first item I wanted to discuss what we prepared with Swati. Swati is not on the call, so I will represent her. So this is what
I
we...
just joined, Sergey.
Oh, hi, Swati.
Hi, Sergey.
Yeah. We prepared this report and presented yesterday. I don't know, like we didn't get any feedback during the SIG Node meeting. Everybody were quiet, just listening. But I wonder if anybody on this call has feedback to what we made here.
I don't know what kind of feedback you want, but I've been looking at the test grid and getting alarmed at how many things are failing. If that's the kind of feedback you want, you got it.
Yeah, that was one of the messages I wanted to deliver. One message I was missing from this report, whether everything is okay or not. And I think knowing all this, like some details of these failures, I would say the status overall is green, maybe yellowish green, but we need, like, looking at this and looking at test grid, you're right. Like you look at like how many tests are failing and how many different problems we have, it feels very dangerous, even though like we know it's pretty stable right now. We don't have any major problems. Yeah, so I think one thing that we can do is to highlight the status, maybe like saying that all the critical tests passing and many failures we know that are being infrastructure problems. So that may be one feedback, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to give one additional opinion because it's going to discourage people from trying to fix these things. I was looking at things that used to fail in a particular way. They fail in a totally different reason now, and it looks like there's a fairly broad swath of infrastructure problem, which is masking the original problem that was there some weeks back. It's hard to figure it out now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when it's green, it's better, right? So you immediately know when something starts being not green. Like for instance, this Fedora swap test, they were red for a very long time because of infrastructure problem. And now I wouldn't commit that it's working on Fedora. We didn't change anything in the logic, and it's work on containerd, so or on Ubuntu, I believe we're testing it. So it's supposed to be working. Functionality is supposed to be fine, and it's alpha feature. So I wouldn't sweat about this test being red for a while. But you're right. If this will stop working on Fedora, we wouldn't even know about it. Any other feedback?
I think this is really good. I think we could. So I saw some of the tests for COS that we want to deprecate out, I believe. I think if we went through the failing test and figured out which ones we really cared about, we could highlight those and then we can dive into them. I'm not sure how we do that, but maybe we could somehow sort rank these in some fashion.
Yeah, and I asked Mike to add this item for today's discussion. This PR highlights some things that I wanted to discuss, and it's exactly what you're talking about. This is like some tests we don't really care about, and they read like, and we. Okay, let's discuss it when we will get to that. Okay.
Okay.
That's a good
Yeah.
feedback. Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
I also wanted to pay attention on this one. So I was very generous here by saying many issues are 1 month old. In fact, many issues are like multi-months old. So I was just, okay, 1 month is like old enough to make people worry. Some issues are from like last year, quite a few actually. So it's at least 6 months old, many issues. And I also found many issues, not many, fewer issues got rotten. So it means that during the summertime, when many people were on break, we had issues rotten out, and we didn't fish them out. Because issues still exist, but we don't track it as a GitHub issue. So yeah, that is alarming. We need to keep up the pace of fixing and resolving issues. But I think it's pretty similar with perma failures, right? So this perma failure as this eviction and this eviction, like SORI for a very long time. I think somebody in Google looking at this right now. Benja, he's not on the call right now, but yeah, he's looking into that. But again, it's not like top priority. So issue tracking, I think this is quite easy collected statistics, and I think if we start doing these reports once a month, we can get some sense of what we're doing. And maybe if you combine it with how many tasks were closed, yeah, just one here, 13. That may be, oh, it's PRs. So tasks is just one here and 11 here. So yeah, I mean, it's decent progress, not that bad. Okay, bug triage. Also interesting statistic. I think we're doing reasonably good on bugs from triage perspective. And this is what we wanted to do from this group. We really want like bugs to be fixed by main SIG node, like by everybody. So triage, from triage perspective, we're doing amazing. We caught up on all the bugs, and I think we're reacting on like people providing more information and like moving them into right columns. So we know all the issues we have. We just we're growing our debt by accumulating these bugs and not fixing them.
Yeah, I think one thing that would have been really nice to capture here was the bugs that we triaged, like the number of bugs that we managed to triage, because I believe that would have been a big number. But I struggled to figure out the query to, capture that number exactly.
Yeah, that would be hard because some issues we even remove from our SIG, so it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be able to get this information afterwards. Yeah, that would be interesting piece of information. Lots of work going into that, but it's hard to demonstrate.
Quantify it. Yeah.
Yeah. All those people, I browsed through Zoom and it gave me this list. If I missed somebody, it's Zoom fault, not mine. I promise. Okay, this is it. Yeah, if you have any other ideas what we can talk about in this report, it will be great. I think next report we may start doing some deltas. So not only current status, but a little bit of delta as well. That may help. And I mean, my hope when I started this sheet was that we will have clear picture of what is like green going to red and green again. But yeah, that doesn't provide enough information. Like it's not presentable. Like we cannot present this sheet and say like this is current status of tests. Like it doesn't work, unfortunately. So maybe this can be improved as well. Yeah, if you have any other ideas and feedback or want to be involved for the next report, let's discuss that.
Can I see that report one more moment? I was thinking of something that might be useful to put on it. There's a triage section down below. Yeah, but it's not the monthly report on the triaging effort. Reason I'm asking is because we were wondering how much progress we made. So it'd be good every month when triaging is done to put at the beginning of the session how many tickets are in that queue and then triage it. And then you can see the difference week after week.
Yeah, that's a good idea how to do that. Yeah, some triage is happening outside the meeting, but yeah, most of the triage is happening here. Okay, it's something we can do and we can try now, try today. Okay, Brian, you said that you want to discuss your PR. So I noticed it didn't have SIG Node. That's why I haven't seen it. So I
okay.
put it, so it's a very simple command here. And after that, it's immediately got into my radar.
Yeah, it might be a bit verbose. I'm here to pitch it, and I'll try to summarize for you. Previous PR went out, it wasn't good enough. This one, I want to explain because I want to make sure you know that due diligence was done to try to get the ARM64 tests working for TensorFlow. I documented quite a bit down further about the efforts I made to make that work. I don't think that I failed to try hard enough. I think it's actually not going to work any further. I couldn't find an image anywhere that was going to work for the ARch64 to actually build TensorFlow properly. Anyway, I won't go on too much about that. I put some data in the ticket. So the proper solution is to not try to do that anymore. I even tried to bump it up to TensorFlow 2, and the amount of work that would get a similar or equivalent test going with TensorFlow 2 was way too large to justify this, including pulling in Bazel and building stuff, because those images don't exist for Arch64 either. So my conclusion and recommendation of this is get rid of that Arch64 image build, and this thing will turn green again. You can see the PR at this point is quite small. There's like one line. Remove it from the base image, bump the version.
Does it have any release notes?
There's a release notes, no. All I
README.
did was I made a fairly verbose comment here in the PR. I didn't make any release notes.
Typically, like every image has its change log or whatever. How it's called. Doing that.
I see.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, some do. Okay. Because if you look at pause, for instance, okay, images, pause.
I don't mind if you put a comment on there and recommend I add a release notes. That's fine.
It doesn't have it either. I think only pause image has it. So yeah, it's fine. Sorry, I was distracted. I was looking recently on pause image versioning very actually. So.
Show the audience the awesome comment I put in. It's pretty large. I want y'all to see it. I did a lot of work on it.
Okay. This one?
Right there, including test results to show you that I was not cutting corners.
Did you learn something new?
What?
Did you learn something new?
No, I was backtracking here. There's a tremendous effort to get TensorFlow to work, and then the conclusion is just get it out and prove the other tests still work.
Okay. Yes.
Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, did you have a question? I see you jumping on screen here. Okay.
What else? All attacks I can remember. PTM. It doesn't count. My approval doesn't count here, but something.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you for great effort, and I hope that performance will be back on green.
I want that thing green. I need a victory.
Oh, Mike saying just showing my face to work. Yes. Okay, Mike. Let's go to this one.
So for anyone not familiar, this PR is to delete some jobs that are on the cost tab. These jobs have been read for a while, and nobody looks at it. I asked internally to the cost team if they are using them, and they mentioned that these are not looked by them. So the conclusion was it's probably best to just delete them.
Yeah, this tab called cause, meaning like this the name of operating system, and
Yes.
I think when I looked at this PR, I was like, it doesn't look like it's cause specific, so it doesn't look like it's operating system specific. So for instance, this test, this is a SOC test. SOC meaning that VMs will never be deleted after test executed. So unfortunately, it's all red now. It used to be green before my parental leave. It was very strange. It was green, 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 red, green, 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 red. Red was when VM was out of memory, out of hard drive, and then like everything crashed and like test infra will recreate a new machine. Yeah, that is very interesting test to keep. And I think this was my first suggestion, and I just like quickly glanced through, and like I think what Mike did is move this tab somewhere. But then like when I did another review, I back to Ryan's point, whether this test are important, I noticed that this one, flaky.
Right.
So flaky is the one, like I think that's the only tab that specifically queries for flaky tests. So the idea with flaky tab was always that if tests start being flaky and we don't want to make our whole test grid red, so we will mark the specific test as flaky and we'll move it into separate tab, and then we'll look at this tab and clean up and unflake it. So that was a process that was created before. And I looked at other tabs and I didn't find any other flaky tabs. So I think that's the only flaky tab that we have. Does it?
Yeah, I remember that for some other tabs we do have flaky tabs, but for some other specific groups.
This is very another flaky one. Somehow I didn't see it, but it's
Either,
different set of flakiness, right?
yeah, it's possible that we removed it, but I recall there was another flaky tab. But yeah, I guess at the end, what I can do is like just go through them and inspect if anybody really cares about them, and if not, to see if we have a replacement for them.
Yeah, because then ingress, I think that is very specific for ingress tests, like ingress tests, and I wonder if we run it in other place. If we do, then fine, let's remove it. But I think it has a very specific configuration for ingress tests, and then it runs them in this specific configuration. So we may lose a signal. I mean, it's a red signal right now, but we may lose it nevertheless. Yeah. And for this one, maybe need to involve a SIG network and even move it to networking tab. Like we have like SIG network somewhere different place. And then they can decide they don't need it, but I don't think we want to just blindly remove it. And reboot is another thing that I just don't know if we run reboot test anywhere else. I mean, reboot is such a disruptive thing that I would assume we disabled it everywhere. But it's interesting. Like, I mean, we don't test reboot in any other. I don't remember any other test that would intentionally reboot the machine. So maybe that's the only one. And if it is, then we need to decide whether we want to keep it around.
Right, makes sense.
Ryan, to your point about importance of a test, I was thinking like this like reboot or like a very specific like serial on Fedora or like memory swap on Fedora. Is it? Would you say it's critical enough that we need to care, or you think it's kind of secondary tab?
I think,
I think
for Fedora, we should look into them.
And I'm not picking on specific, like this specific test. Like it was just first test in this report that was marked as failing, right?
Yeah, I think we should look into the Fedora ones.
So how would you categorize which tests are not important to look at? Because that was your point, right? So we need to look at tests and understand which one we don't want to look at that much, and like make.
I guess my point was is if we were going to deprecate out the COS tests, then we should remove them from the build tree and remove them from the document and just prioritize which ones we were wanting to look at first.
I see. So
But
alpha features. So like I'm trying to find dimension here, which less important than other dimensions.
Right. I didn't have the full context on this, but when I saw the issue, I think it was specified that the tests were failing. At least all the times that were keep tracked on the test grid. So that's why I thought that maybe they were failing since the beginning of times and they don't really offer any value. And there's no point in keeping red tabs if they have always been red. But seeing that at some point they were passing, then that changes everything. And yeah, it might be wise to just go again into them and inspect whether or not we want to either remove them because we have them running in another place or properly fix them.
Ryan, and I'm asking you because you brought this point about important tests and less important tests, and I get in this all the time from inside of Google as well. I just concentrate on important tests, and I'm like trying to come up with a dimension, and I cannot. Like, is alpha features not important? I mean, they about to become beta, right? Like, they are important.
oh no, I agree. Alpha features are important and we should test those.
Yeah, and I can like. I mean, some functionalities that we may not use for Google, but it's still important for open source. So we still need to invest to those. And I just cannot come up with a dimension. Like, I don't think we run any not needed tests. And that bothers me. Like, even performance tests that, like, Brian, you helping fix, I think they are needed because we don't run any stress besides this performance on kubelet, and like we wouldn't catch any real degradation of how Kubernetes works. Yeah, but I welcome any idea like how we can categorize tests to make it make this question disappear. So make people realize that all tests are important, or maybe categorize tests. Okay. Sorry for my rant. I I just I was trying to get this sorted out for some time, and I just cannot come up with any plan and like any categorization that will make that is easily explainable.
No, it makes sense. We don't care about running tests that they don't offer any value. What would be the point of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, we run some tests a little bit too often, like some tests like every 4 hours.
Yeah.
We only need them like once a day. But beside of that, I think all the test runs are quite needed. And the fact that signal is red is not indications that we don't care. It's indications that we something is broken with us and we don't have enough people to look at them.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, like I think knowledge that everything is green is very much in the heads of few people. So like people who attended this meeting know that like everything is pretty much stable because all the failures we know, like this is infrastructure, this was failing a lot, but we know that it's working. This kind of tribal knowledge that we carry from release to release. But I hope we can eliminate this human factor from the equation. Okay, let's move on to triage. If you don't mind, we have stop. Okay, that one we just looked at.
That's me again. That's my ticket, I think.
Yeah, I think it's approved. Somebody. Release not label. How can I do that? I think maybe it's done now. SIG node container image validation course failing. It's failed for a long time. Yeah, it's green. It's red all the time. I think we can apply SIG network for that and see. Let them help us. Does anybody has it? Desire to look at it? I don't even know where to start, so I would let SIG network to look at it first. Handling pod failures by Kubernetes. Oh, this is a feature. So this is a feature. Let's see how much tests they have. They some of the fiction tests and one end-to-end. Yeah, I think we can just review it as a regular PR. Okay, scroll it all the way. Yeah, it's a very interesting cap. I really enjoy what they're doing with the jobs these days. So if you, I would definitely look myself, but if you're interested, take a look as well. Test image. Okay, so I think this person, Shingo, came last week to this meeting and gave us some overview of some functionality that is not working as expected. Yes. Okay. So they adding new image here. Very this base image or busy box. Okay. Okay. So I think we just triage it.
I think I already, yeah, I think I already moved it. I already triage accepted it and reviewed it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, this looks good. Okay. Okay, and this we looked at. Perfect. Nothing else. Doing okay. If anybody like, I think last time what we did on the meeting, we looked at tasks assigned to everybody, and everybody had tasks. So I don't think we need to do it this time, unless people want to discuss some items. Any desire? Oh, okay. Let's go into bug triage really quick, and then okay. Let's do what you suggested. 7 plus this thing 6 bugs triaged. Okay, 2 nodes. even has beautiful images. I am afraid I cannot go too deep into understanding these images right now. Kubelet restart to fail. Now restarting kubelet will fail.
It's such an excellently done ticket.
I'm afraid it may be related to existing limitation, but I cannot say for sure without going into details.
It says 121. Do you think, maybe we can ask them if it is still happening?
Yeah, that's true. I think it may be something related to checkpointing, but I'm not sure what we do with memory manager on set checkpointing. I know the CPU manager will have some issues with the restart and losing state.
I think typically in CPU manager, you're supposed to remove the checkpoint file for CPU manager before you restart kubelet. I believe maybe that's what you're supposed to do here as well. But I think it makes sense to just ask them to check first if this is the behavior they get on the latest version, and then we can look into it.
Okay. Sandbox post container not deleted, and it's good that it's not deleted, right? Right?
Oh. Yes, I guess so.
I think it was found, yeah. Wait. Oh, I see. It's not about image, it's about pause. What's Docker shim? Yeah.
Wow, 11 days.
Yeah, I know that similar behavior exists on containerd. We have some real issues with sandbox being stuck sometimes. But on Docker shim, I doubt we will ever patch it for 123. It may be a real issue, and it likely is. I know that sometimes happening. If somebody wants to look at Docker shim, please be my guest. It's it may be a little bit hard from archaeology perspective to go there, and code base is not on master anymore. To the past. Okay, this is another time issue. How much in the past?
I think there was a similar issue a while ago, where for some reason the node goes in the past, and then
Yeah, I remember. But that time it was pod wasn't able to. I mean, Node was still in good shape. It just couldn't schedule any more pods because it thought that it already have a newer pod around or something like that.
right.
So I believe it's an issue. We may have a lot of those.
Is it a real issue? Like, is this something that we should support, or is this something that it should happen on oath, right?
Time skew happening, and typically if you have a time server around, it will update really fast. I think most of the bugs reported about time skew was from edge devices, like some telecom that running Node on some low power device.
Okay.
And those may have time skew reasonably, like very high. So we don't support those devices very well. And I think this will be like the smallest problem. If node becomes unknown, you can at least just restart this node and be done with that. So it should be fine. But yeah, I think we have more serious issues with timing.
Right.
Let's understand how much timing it's talking about here. If it's very like if it can be replaced with few seconds, and we may need to look into that. The pod workers delete sentiment. Okay. Yeah, I think this is being looked at. I saw Clayton. Let's look into that. Again, a very old kubelet.
Newer version.
With um, Is it the same person? Static.
It is the same person who had the other bug. I think in this they're still proposing a change as well. I could take a look at this one.
Okay, Swati. Counting his tickets very well, so I will accept it. Just for effort. Okay, thank you, Swati. And last one. Huh.
He's using nerd cuddle. This might be a container D thing. Oh, I see.
It may be container D thing. It doesn't say, oh, container D, yeah. And it's almost latest, so very fresh. Okay. Can't tell more. Anybody interested? I will mention David.
You can tag me too.
Okay.
I'm curious too. Can you tag me? I was going to just secretly tag myself.
I forgot your alias.
Oh, what is it? Eczema Queen, I think.
Eczema.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with the promotion of CRI stats, do we do it for this release or next release? But we're about to promote it to the next stage. It will be interesting to fix it.
It'll be staying at alpha, so it's not. It's like retargeting alpha, so it's not quite moving forward or moving
Okay.
orthogonally. But
I guess
so
it's
far.
moving into being functional.
Yes, adding more needed functionality for sure.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're done with the bug triage. And we have 11 minutes left. Anything else for today? Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Bye.
Right.
Thanks. Bye bye.